And I think you guys really should have.
I call this meeting to order. Welcome to our council meeting for October 14, 2025. In the interest of time, efficiency, and ensuring that everyone who wishes to address the council is given the opportunity to do so, the following will apply to all comments made by the public. Each speaker will be permitted 3 minutes to address the council. Thank you for participating in your city government. Today's invocation will be given by Police Chaplain James Pagan. Please rise and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Heavenly Father, we come before you this afternoon with great hearts, thankful for the gift of life, community, and a beautiful city we call home. We thank you for Clermont, our promised land, a place blessed with growth, opportunity, and the spirit of unity that binds us together as one people. Lord, grant this council wisdom and peace as they lead with compassion, fairness, and vision. Let every decision made today reflect the greater good of our community, honoring the values that make Clermont shine: faith, family, and fellowship. We ask your peace dwell among us, peace in our world, peace in our homes, and peace in our hearts, and peace in every neighborhood. May we celebrate the diversity that strengthens us and the love that connects us. Remind us that when we serve one another, we honor you. As we continue to build upon the promise of this great city, may we never lose sight of the purpose that brought us here, a great place where hope thrives, families flourish, and community endures. Bless our leaders, bless our citizens, and all who call Clermont home. May we walk together in unity, guided by your light toward a future filled with peace, joy, and promise. And everybody says, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Please be seated. What do we start with today? Proclamation. Okay. First thing we have on the agenda today is a proclamation for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You didn't hear me? What about now? Yes. Okay. Well, the next thing on the agenda is a proclamation for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Yes, ma'am.
Whereas breast cancer is one of the most diagnosed cancers among women in the United States, affecting hundreds of thousands of individuals and families each year. And whereas it is estimated that in 2025, over 280,000 women and more than 2,500 men in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and more than 42,000 lives will be lost to this disease. And whereas increased public awareness, early detection through regular screening, and advances in medical research and treatment have significantly improved survival rates and outcome for those affected by breast cancer. And whereas many survivors, healthcare providers, researchers, and advocates are working tirelessly to raise awareness, provide support, and fund critical research in pursuit of a cure. And whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month, observed each October, offers a dedicated opportunity to honor those we have lost, support those currently battling the disease, and recognize the strength and resilience of survivors and their families. And whereas the City of Clermont remains committed to promoting education, awareness, and access to screening and care, and encourages all residents to take proactive steps toward their health and well-being.
Now, therefore, I, Tim Murray, Mayor of the City of Clermont in the state of Florida, do by here proclaim the month of October 2025 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and called the great seal of the City of Clermont to be affixed this 14th day of October in the year 2025. I don't think we're presenting that with anybody. One? Okay. Before I go, as you can see, we all wearing, most of us wearing pink up here, and that's in recognition of breast cancer awareness. But I also want to put a plug in for another thing that's dear to my heart out here that's recognized this month is domestic awareness. As you may have noticed through this month so far, I've been wearing pink and purple pretty much every day because purple is the color for that, okay? But that's something else that's dear to me too, domestic violence. So keep those in mind as well. So thank you. Next thing on, we have a presentation from the fire department on our ISO rating. Yes, sir, Chief.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Appreciate the opportunity to come up here. So, today has been a day of a lot of energy, so looking forward to getting some positive energy going here. We do have a graphic. Okay, so we wanted to put this up. So I know we announced recently that we were reevaluated by ISO this year, and we were re-awarded an ISO Class 1 rating, which will become effective in December. What I wanted to share is this is off our ISO portal, and this graphic, it's got, you see there's several different lines on there, but you see where our score is to the right of the bar, but over more towards the left side there is the national average, there's a state average, and then there's a peer group average, and I just wanted to show you how much further to the right we were than those groups. One thing that was really notable this year is the water points. Last time, I think we were at about 33.4 out of 40 points on that. This year, we were 39.31. It was almost a perfect score on Stoney's team with public services, and just really wanted to give them a shout out and kind of, just talk about the importance of that. If you looked at the fire department score just on its own, we would actually be a Class 2. So it's because of what Stoney's team is doing, what our ECC team is doing up at the county, and then our fire prevention division doing the community risk reduction. Those points are what's pulling us up into a Class 1. So we're already identifying areas where we can polish the, get the fire department score up quite a bit. A lot of that, it's stuff we've already been talking about. It's our deployment model. We have some deficiencies there. ISO's recognized it. We know it's there. So we have a plan that's being worked on and deployed out right now to address that. So you'll see that come up. When staffing numbers come up, that's another thing that'll increase that. So that number should be significantly higher the next time. But just wanted to share some of the wonderful work that's being done out there, not just at the fire department, but some of the other unsung heroes. They really make this possible for us, and just wanted to thank them for all the support we got to be successful again going through the ISO process. Chief, you want to say anything? Okay. I was going to let Chief Kassler come up. He was kind of like the brains behind everything there. So, but thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Well done.
Real
well
quick,
done to Stoney's team too.
one stat I just want to share. I like to put this out there. So there are approximately 333 departments in the United States that are accredited. And there's like 27, almost 28,000 departments nationwide. The number of departments that are both an ISO Class 1 internationally accredited is 123. That puts Clermont in the top 1/2 of 1% of all departments countrywide. So
Great.
So.
Outstanding. I have one question, Chief.
Yes.
On average, about how much on homeowners insurance do that rating save a person?
That is a difficult question to answer because ISO, what their work is, where their work is done at the underwriting level. Mm-hmm. So it then goes to the agents who then turn around and resell the policies. So there's a lot of variables in there. It only impacts the hazard side of the policy, not the windstorm.
Okay.
We've talked to some residents where they've contacted their insurer and it's made no difference in their coverage. We've had other ones where they've come back after being re-rated from the county into the city and they got a check back for $500. So it kind of ranges it all the way in there, and it really comes down to the company and the agent that's selling the policy and everything else, all the little nuances that you can have with coverage and values and everything else. But being a Class 1, they have, there is not a better rate that they can have.
Okay.
I know it has a heavier impact on the commercial side than it does on the residential, but we have seen residentials that it's been upwards of $500.
Okay, well, great. I can save $500 on my insurance any day. Well, thank you, Chief. Appreciate it, and please give thanks to all your staff and everyone as well, because I know it's their hard work and dedication that help us achieve that. Matter of fact, this morning I think I saw a report where it was a fire department in Orlando that did not even receive their accreditation again.
They had it revoked.
Yeah, had it revoked. Yeah, I saw that this morning. And I thought about it. I said,
Never seen that. Yeah, that takes some effort.
Well, it takes some effort, but I just when I saw that this morning, it made me feel good about our fire department even more so, to know that we got a 1 rating and everything. Thank you. Anybody else coming? Next item is public comment. And anyone who wishes to address the council, please come to the microphone and state your name and address. And this portion of the meeting is on for items that's not on the agenda. In the interest of time, efficiency, and ensuring that everyone who wishes to address the council is given the opportunity to do so, each speaker will be permitted 3 minutes to address the council. To avoid disruption of the meeting, speakers should avoid inappropriate language, personal attacks, and derogatory statements and direct comments to the council. Everyone is requested to be respectful, even when we disagree. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, council members. Just want to share with you my gratitude for each and every one of you, for city staff. I had the misfortune of going to the county commission meeting today, and it is very obvious how much you folks really are dedicated to the public safety of this community. We have felt it, honestly, since I've been union president, which was January. I made a pledge that you would have a teamwork approach from me, and you guys have given nothing but that back to the fire department. And you are part of the reason that you saw those scores that occur and the decisions that you make, the city leadership makes. We just can't be more thankful for what you're doing for us and allowing us to apply for this SAFER grant. We're adding miles to the city. We're adding tens of thousands of people to the city, and we need the people to protect it. And you have my word on behalf of our firefighters that we will every day come to work and do our very best to keep moving forward with that mission that you guys have set for us. So thank you guys very much for what you do, and we appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Hannah Sinclair, 575 West Mineola. It is my impression from previous conversations that this council really cares about the environment, about our resources, about our water, and that is something that I really appreciate, because a lot of our residents are also very concerned about that. We would like to keep our waters pristine, we would like to protect our land. So I am thankful for the ordinance you have passed in regards to landscaping for new developments, but I just wanted to throw a few ideas at you so that perhaps you could create more ordinances to encourage people who already own property, who already have land, to convert their land to more Florida-friendly practices. I know, for example, of some cities in obviously more arid areas that have had to come to terms with the fact that they cannot have a lot of lawn in private property, so they offer their citizens rebates so that they can convert their lawn to something that is more appropriate for the area. Perhaps we could emulate something like that, or perhaps rebates so that people can install cisterns and rain barrels to collect rainwater and not even have to irrigate with potable water or even from reclaimed water. I mean, the water that you already have at your property is probably going to be the most ecologically friendly choice. And another idea is that Florida Arbor Day is on January 19th. People here love trees, so perhaps this would be a great opportunity to have like a community tree planting event, and the city can take on the commitment of maintaining the trees, because planting the trees is the easy part. They need to be irrigated for a few months while they become established. But yeah, just some ideas to throw at you. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Farmer Banks Helfrich, Clay Road District, South Lake County. Farm tip of the day, cool weather months, fall and winter. You can grow crops such as brachysis or cruciferous vegetables, such as broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, mustards, Brussels sprouts. Also, you can grow underground crops such as carrots, onions, beets. Turnips grow like wild here in Florida. You can grow also tomatoes, the quintessential fruit/vegetable, so put those in the ground now. Mayor, council, distinguished guests, roughly 250 years ago, actually next year, our forefathers put together, ratified and signed the Constitution. Immediately thereafter, they put together the amendments. The first 10 amendments of the Constitution are considered to be the Bill of Rights, quite appropriately named, since they are the rights given to our citizens. These rights include the right to petition our government, the right to bear arms, the right to freedom of speech, the right to worship whoever we want to worship, the right to press, and the right to due process. These rights are explicitly written in our Bill of Rights / our Constitution / our amendments, and with it comes a caveat, and that caveat is they come with it individual responsibilities. So yes, you can go to the middle of the street and you can, at the top of your lungs, express your viewpoint. You can go on social media and do the same thing. However, remember, my mother taught me that every word you say, you are responsible for it. So be wise and choose them accordingly, because they will stay with you for the rest of your life. So, with every right, you have an individual responsibility. I am Farmer Banks Helfrich. May you all be blessed. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, City Council. My name is Vincent Nemec, Regency Hills.
Afternoon.
I also had the pleasure of spending most of my morning to the afternoon at the BCC meeting. I want to give a big thank you and a shout out to the following people. I'd like to first, City Council, Mr. Todd Howard, fighting tooth and nail, all right, making and standing up for the city of Clermont. I couldn't believe it. City Manager, Rick Van Wagner. I never saw Rick almost lose his cool, but he held it there. All right, Assistant Dan Mathis. Okay, he was trying to control everybody down. I would especially like to give a big shout out to our fire department, all right, for standing up for City of Clermont, for the ambulance, fighting for the ambulance service, from Chief Azell, Assistant Chief Castle, Assistant Chief, sorry if I mispronounce it, Howie, and also the union representative, Mr. Bennett, and a big shout out to a resident, Mr. Joe Famasi, staying there all day, and especially last time. Everybody I mentioned was there fighting tooth and nail. Beggars can't be choosy. I wish I had a little bit more, but beggars cannot be choosy. All right? They fought tooth and nail for the ambulance program, which, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to let the higher-ups talk about what happened there, okay? But for those people that didn't have a chance to look at the video, I just want to point something out to you, okay? And actually, I'm going to display it on the screen, if you don't mind. Just the top part. There you go. Where my finger is, if you could zoom in on that. Any day now. There you go. Perfect. Thank you. As you can see, this is the Heartwood Expansion Phase 1. Your Honor, I know you're familiar with this, but I want to educate a few more people, so maybe I get some more volunteers for next meeting. All right? This is just Phase 1, going from US 27 to only Regency Drive, which is the front. Believe it or not, it's going to bottleneck right in front of the church, and it's going to bottleneck right in front of Lake Imagine. So really, it's basically going from 4 lanes to 2 lanes in front of the biggest problem we have, but beggars can't be choosy. In 2007, the estimate cost, and please don't mind the typos, was $9.7 million for the whole project of Phase 1. In 2022, the cost of it rose to $15 million. Once again, it kept kicking the can down the road. In 2025, all right, because of COVID, it went to a total of $25 million just to fund phase one. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm running out of time, but this was important. I'm going to be honest with you. The vote is next BCC meeting about taking out a bridge loan rate of anywhere from 3 to 5 to 4.5%. If it passes, then we could hopefully, they say it, I'm looking at you, Your Honor, because they said it to us many times. Next year of 2026, they'll be breaking ground for phase one. So if I get a little more support, if you cannot make it there, anybody listen to me, write to the commission, write to the commissioners. Just write an email, all right, in our favor. Thank you, and have a blessed afternoon.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Joe Famasi, Wellness Way. I would thank Todd Howard coming up today, Mr. Van Wagner, Chief. I appreciate the support to try to create the ambulance service. I don't think the county got the point today. It was all about control, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves. So the city came with ambulances that could be in May and April and May now, and all they want to talk about is we need space. They've had 10 years to create space, so now it's time for them to step aside. Obviously, they are not very good at providing services. Just look at our roads. So get out of the way, county, and quit hindering us. Next thing I'd like to point out from Public Workshop, from Public Works, you know the main water line that comes down to Wellness Way. When that water line gets knocked out, yes, I witnessed the no water to Olympus, Wellness, Ridge, or Pulte. That also means no water to fight fires. So I'm asking you to make a priority today the water tank and the special plant. There's going to be almost 20-some thousand homes down there, including the county area. So I can't depend on the county to come down there and fight fires, because I'll tell you the last two fires, who came down there to fight them? And you can tell the county I said this. That was Clermont. They were the first ones there and the last ones out. So I really don't understand their position up there. They need to get out of the way. They're not helping Wellness Way. They're not helping Clermont. Hartwood Marsh, another disaster. That was created by the county. They approved several developments to go down there. How are those people going to get out of their driveways? County, get out of the way. I went to several cities to advocate for cities' rights. So today is to declare that. Also, I'd like the city lawyer here to look into impact credits. I think that some have been in the past given away to Wellness Way, too many, and maybe didn't really qualify. I think that they really call for that to tighten up, because your impact credits are what helps build your infrastructure. And I think that past experiences, it's been mentioned in one of the studies that too many impact credits were given away. So if you could look into that, Mr. Wall. I have more faith in you than I do the last city attorney. You've proven yourself way above the bar. Thank you for your time. Please tell the county, get out of the way.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of the council. Paula Hoisington, 564 East DeSoto Street. Couple of questions, statements. One is there, or what, I remember us discussing at one county or commission meeting about the pickup of trash. When people cut limbs in their yard and they put them on the side of the road. But I don't remember what the outcome was. So if I could get the information on that, because there's an area in the Lincoln Park area where this man trimmed his trees, trash piled up here from the trees, and it stayed there until it's brown, right? And then you see the truck comes by, but it bypasses this house. So I don't know if there's a requirement that when you put trash to the side that you call and request that it get picked up. And if that is a requirement, do our citizens know that before they put it out there? Because maybe they wouldn't put it out there until they've called and made arrangements to have it picked up. So when we pass by, we don't have to look at it every day. And then it becomes brown and it's just disgusting looking. So if I can get some clarity on that. And then also I had someone that did call down and they got passed around to 3 different departments when they finally did talk to a person, and then they were told, well, you have to go to code enforcement, you have to give your name and their address, and they're like, not gonna do that. Not gonna give my name and address just to complain about something that I think the city should take care of. So if we can get some clarity on that, I don't know how we let the citizens know what the requirements is to have trash picked up, branches and things like that, but if we can get that information out. The second thing is I drive down here and I drive around Clermont. I know the difference between a home owners association sidewalk and just a sidewalk. When I drive down here and around Clermont, I don't see any sidewalks that look like the sidewalk upkeep or not upkeep that is in Lincoln Park. And I'm just wondering, how do we get the Lincoln Park area sidewalks to be reflective of the sidewalks as you coming downtown? I should not have to call and say, can you send a crew out to trim up a sidewalk because it looks awful? I shouldn't have to do that, right? If this area is on a schedule, then why can't all neighborhoods that is required for upkeep by the city be on the same schedule? Where there are utility poles, do we call the utility company and say your area in which your pole has overgrowth? Or does the city maintain that? Just want some answers of how the area of Lincoln Park can look like all the other areas where there's not, in a home association, that the sidewalks look as neat and as trimmed at all times, just as it is when you drive downtown. Thank you.
Thank you. This is public comment. Anyone in the public wish to address?
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Mayor Tim Murray, City Council members. Can you pull this up for me? Can you back out just a little bit, or do I need to make a change? Thank you. Oh, well, it's not colored. Good afternoon. My name is Kurt Shue. I represent the VFW post here in Clermont. I'm a 33-year combat veteran, 7 combat tours overseas. I retired as a lieutenant colonel about 12 years ago. I'm here to once again advocate for Make Us in the Middle and the veterans and the First Responders Memorial. I know we're going to talk about this next week, but I want to just keep it in your mind and think about what we're doing. What is the price, and what will we do without freedom? What will we do without our liberties? And who pays the price for that? Well, for those brothers and sisters, those sons and daughters, our neighbors, your husbands, your fathers, or those that served in the military, you see the price. Over the last history of America for 250 years, about 1.3 million people have died. Another 1.4 million have been wounded, like my father was in North Africa in World War II, or my uncle in Iwo Jima and Guadalcanal. I came from a military family. Let me zoom in a little bit closer. So this past week, zoom out just a little bit. Thank you. This past week, 25 years ago, the USS Cole was attacked in Yemen. 17 sailors lost their life. They weren't in a war, they were just parked at a port. Ship drove up to it, broke the security cordon. 2 of these women actually could have gotten a basic training in Orlando, because Orlando quit training in 1995 when it bracked. But 27 sailors that looked just like all of us as Americans that had the honor and privilege to serve our country died. They were still digging them out right now, 2 days later, because the ship had a hole the size of a truck in the side of it from the explosions, several thousand pounds. Just like our post, just like Marvin Young, just like the VFW post, Walter Alfred Suggs, who died on the Arizona on December 7th of 1941. He was from this area, just like other veterans I've talked about. So I would like you to think about those people as we go into this meeting. Thank you for what you do for our country. Thank you for our city. God bless America.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, thank you for letting me come up here and speak. I'm Dwayne Orth. I'm the commander of the VFW Post 5277 here in Clermont. And I, too, am speaking in support of the Meet Us in the Middle Veterans and First Responders Memorial Project. And just to kind of tie that into a little bit, I want to share a little bit of an experience I had. I'm a 25-year Army veteran. deployed to Iraq twice, and I was also in Korea for a year. So I do want to share an experience I had in 1993 when I was a soldier in Korea. So one day I was touring the Panmunjom demilitarized zone that's between Korea and North Korea, or Korea and South Korea. So it was kind of a bizarre thing to kind of see that, because when you're in Korea, you're told that that's your enemy up there, and you're looking into enemy territory with North Korean and South Korean soldiers staring at each other, just waiting for them one to make a wrong move. Propaganda being shown on the hill like Hollywood Hill, and propaganda being spewed over the loudspeakers coming right at you. So it was kind of an eerie thing to see that, but it was a good experience for a young soldier to see of what could be facing before them. But on the way home, or on the way back to our camp, I should say, we got on the bus. We were all in our uniform. All us soldiers were in spiffy uniforms and everything. Got on the bus, and we happened to make a pit stop at, we'll just call it a Korean version of Buc-ee's. And up next to us pulled up another tour bus, and this tour bus was full of elderly South Korean people. And something that probably the first time I had experienced anything like that, these elderly Korean people came off that bus and went straight to us, smiling, wanted to shake our hand, hugging us, saying thank you, thank you, thank you so much for you American soldiers being here in South Korea, because they knew, they understood why we were there, and they understood the consequences if we weren't there. Because if we were not there, I dare say those people at that time were probably old enough to have experienced the Korean War themselves firsthand as kids and young adults. Okay? So they understood that if it weren't for us being there, they'd probably be living under a dictatorship themselves. And so I asked, they get it. And so this is why I feel it's important that this memorial come to fruition, because we're pretty much lost all our World War II vets, we're losing our Korean War vets, we're starting to lose our Vietnam vets. So let's get this project going before we lose another generation of veterans, so they can see the gratitude Clermont has for our veterans. Please, let's get this project going.
Thank you. This is public comment. Anyone in the public wish to address any item that's not on the agenda, please come to the microphone and state your name and address and have 3 minutes. It is public comment. Anyone in the public wish to address anything that's not on the agenda may come to the microphone and state your name and address and have 3 minutes. Seeing no one else, I close public comment. All right, before we go any further, Mr. Van Wagner, is there any changes to the agenda?
No changes to the agenda, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, as you notice, we have one council member missing. Did we notify anybody or everyone on the agenda that we were missing a council member? And
Oh, he's present.
okay,
Yes, sir.
so they was all notified, and so they don't understand if it's just a 2-2 vote, it doesn't pass. Okay. In addition, I know Councilmember Strange is here now, but I think she'll be leaving at 4:30.
Yeah.
4:30. So at that point, we'll be down to 3 council members for the day. All right. With that being said, next portion of the meeting is the consent agenda, which contain items that have been determined to be routine and non-controversial. If anyone in the audience wishes to address a particular item on the consent agenda, now's the opportunity for you to do so. Additionally, if staff or members of the city council wishes to address a particular item on the consent agenda, they have the same opportunity. The consent agenda items today are items 1 through 18, I think it is, 1 through 18. So any item need to be pulled from the consent agenda?
Yes, so I need to pull item number 7. And then I need to add just an item, certificate of public convenience and necessity. We can probably do that at the end.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
need to add an item, certificate of public convenience and necessity. This has to do with the fire department, so for ambulance transport, so I need to add that in, and
It wasn't
I'll
on
carry that.
Mr. War, will that be acceptable to add an item that hasn't been advertised or anything?
I just want to be clear, is it a motion to add it to consent or just to the end of the agenda?
Just to the end of the agenda.
It is, I thought this might come up, Mayor, so I actually have the Sunshine Manual in front of me that's published by the Florida League of Cities, and I just want, because this does come up, I just want to tell you what the courts say. The Sunshine Law does not mandate that an agency provide notice of each item to be discussed via published agenda. The courts have rejected such a requirement because it would preclude access to meetings by members of the public if they want to bring up specific issues before the body. And there's a bunch of court cases, all right? So the answer, Mayor, is yes. However, there is an Attorney General opinion that suggests that we not do that if it's a controversial item. I do not know if this is a controversial item. I think I know what it's about, but in any event, the City Council can consider it if it wants to.
Okay.
I second.
Okay.
I have no idea what it's about, but
Well, I was
we
about
can
to
talk
ask,
about it.
what is it about? Is it a controversial item?
It's not. For us, it's not. It might be for some people, but for us, it shouldn't be.
Well, we don't have
It
to take
just has to
action.
do-
You're just asking to talk about it at the end
Well,
of
I'd like to
the
take
meeting.
action, but yeah.
Well, we can decide then, right? The
So,
point is to put
yeah.
it on the agenda.
Mhm.
So I second putting it on the agenda.
Okay. I have a motion and a second to add it at the end of the agenda?
Sure.
Okay, end of the agenda for this evening, so any further discussion? Hearing none? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any other items need to be pulled? So item number 7.
Just item number 7.
So I entertain a motion for items 1 through 6 and 8 through 18.
Motion to approve items number 1 through 18 minus number 7.
I second.
Have a motion and a second for approval of consent agenda items 1 through 6 and items 8 through 18. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The chair vote aye as well. Motion passes for, yes, sir, item number 7.
Item number 7, I'm not going to support this. When you go to look inside of this, the sole source, this is the problem that we run into sometimes with sole source. Just for the ramps, they're asking for $20,000 apiece. So for 2 ramps to go down to these docks is $40,000. Just the docks alone at $161,000. And I know we're getting reimbursed by FEMA, but I don't see, it's still taxpayer dollars, and I still have an issue when we do these things. There's also not a discussion on why the last dock failed, which is in large part because the pilings are too short, so that's not in the bid. So it was just a really open-ended bid. I wasn't happy with it. I'm not going to support it.
Well, this is a sole source, so you want to send it out to RFP? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just not happy with it, and I'm not going to support paying $20,000 for a sheet of aluminum, and I know it's more than a sheet of aluminum. I'm not going to pay $20,000 for a ramp. I mean, it's just, I do not feel that they had our best interest because it was sole source, and they were just able to name their price. I think there's other opportunities for this. I'm not looking to hold it up, but it also did not encompass the rest of the job in replacing the pilings, because the pilings need to be higher. The reason that they came off was because they were too low. That's what damaged the last dock. I don't think that this council had a conversation about whether we want to look at other alternatives that could be removed during hurricanes. And like I said, I know this is FEMA money, but I'm not going to spend FEMA money on something that I wouldn't support from the city either. So,
Okay, Mr. Bronson isn't here. Mr. Jim, please. I'm in support of this item myself because my understanding is it's a better dock than what we had out there. It's include more support and everything than what was out there. And of course, I actually went back and asked them to look at the portable dock. Is what I was asking them to do the portable dock. So when the storms come along, we can move them out of the way, because every year during the storm, when we have a hurricane, just about every one of our docks get damaged. And I know this dock has been damaged several times out there. And it's my understanding that this is a lot stronger, and take into consideration some of the items Mr. Howard was just talking about, the pylons and all.
You're correct on all
Okay.
counts. This would be the second time that this particular dock system had been replaced. This request is a direct purchase, not the entire project. We still have on the street right now a request for proposals from contractors to do the installation and to do the appropriate shoring, which is additional pilings that we worked with FEMA to discover exactly what we needed to do to make sure that this dock system stays in place for the next hurricane. If we had enough ample warning, is it possible to remove this dock system? Yes, it is. It's labor intensive, but it is possible that it could be taken out of the water and put on shore, and then subsequently would assure itself of surviving the next particular hurricane. What we've done this time is to do additional engineering, have additional pilings put in place about midpoint on the docks. That's where we determined the failures were last time, so that this time the docking system would survive. What this proposal is simply a direct purchase of the docking system, which is identical to the docking system we had before, which was chosen specifically because it had the right height requirements, and I'm no expert on docks, but the right height requirements for the rowing people to be able to utilize it. So that's why we just went with what was suggested and recommended last time, the same process. We're attempting to save money by direct purchasing these, and that's what this proposal is.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did you say that the intention is to put some sort of pylon in the middle of the dock?
Correct. So
where?
so
Would it be out of
previous-
the water?
Well, there's a midpoint that we have there. So we had pilings at the beginning and the end. This would put two in the middle section, but giving enough space so that the rowing boats could still unload on either side. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
if these are 70 feet long, then a rowing boat
Yeah,
can't load.
we've-
There are 60 feet long boats.
And we've taken this proposal and showed it to the rowing club and said, this is where the failures were. If we do this, does this work for you? And they said, yes, that is perfectly fine. So we have worked with them to come up with what we think is the correct design.
Is your concern I do think the floating docks are specific to AccuDock, but your concern is the ancillary structures? Is that what you're saying?
So the cost of a ramp at $20,000 is nothing more than just saying, hey, we don't have any competition and we can charge whatever we want for it. And that is truly the way that is. I believe there are other dock systems out there, and I don't know, I was not involved in those discussions, but there are polydock systems out there, and those can be adjusted in height. So you can add water to those and get it to the height that you want it. So there are other systems out there. This dock company does not own
Floating docks.
this floating dock. And you have other manufacturers such as Golden and others who can also do this. I get that they put it out for 7 days. But the way that this was written, it was written so that AccuDock was the only one who fit that procurement request. And like I said, if y'all want to push it through, then push it through. But I'm just not going to support things that I don't agree with. If we would have went through a dock builder, I'm willing to bet that we would not be seeing that cost on that ramp.
So you want an RFP? You want it to actually go out to public bid?
They did do it public bid, but it was
Well, they
written
did
with
sole
such
source.
tight constraints that nobody bid it.
I think it was sole source, so there wasn't a public bid, right?
No, they put it out for 7 days.
It went out. It went out.
It went
It
out for
went
7
out.
days.
Well, we put it out for bid and everything, and it was written in a way to meet our specification and everything, and nobody else submitted it, everything. Evidently, they couldn't meet our specification.
Well,
And
did
this
we
don't go
did we
up there.
notify the alternative companies? Because if we don't tell other companies,
Hold on. Fred, how many did apply?
If I may, it wasn't a bid, it wasn't a proposal, it was RFI. Just notified the public the intent of using a sole source company to buy the dock. That's all it was.
Which they put out for 7 days. And
7
that
days.
was
Okay.
I don't think that it was vetted properly, and like I said, if you guys want to push it through, but I'm just not going to support things like this, and I understand that we're being reimbursed by the federal government, but I don't like the way this was done.
You know more about docks than I do, so if you think we can get a better price, I'm happy to send it through the bid process.
The only thing I want to add, just for information only, there are 3 regattas that the rowing club has planned, and part of their desire to move quickly is so they can let them know for sure we have everything in place. Not trying to, it's just information I'm giving you.
Do we have contracts to show that those are confirmed?
I have not seen those, but part of this, after this vote takes place, and if it is approved, then they were going to move forward with it. That's my understanding. So just more information to consider.
And total cost on this dock is somewhere in the neighborhood of $350,000.
Yeah, it was originally $40,000.
I'm just not there.
Public comment?
All right. This is a public comment, public hearing. Anyone in the public wish to address this item may come to the microphone and state your name and address and have 3 minutes. Anyone in the public wish to address this item may come to the microphone and state your name and address and have 3 minutes. Seeing no one, I close public comment. As I say, I know we need to get the dock replaced.
So this will come up later. If we really have 3 regattas next year, Lake County TDC is having its capital fund meeting in January, and my recollection is that this is a sole source. I don't know that that's true. I don't know that it's true on the ancillary items. I would not want us to miss out. The regattas they're talking about are potentially significant if they have them. You know, I almost feel like if we could do the sole source piece, what if we sent out for bid the other parts? Like, you would know people who could do the aluminum. We can make sure that people know about this, because I share your concerns that if other businesses don't know about it and they don't submit a bid, and the process can be cumbersome, let's make sure we're getting the best price. I do share that concern. I also am concerned about if we deny this and then we lose regattas because of it. We've had this boathouse here for, how many years have I been doing this?
11 years now.
11 years, thanks. So, it would be nice to get them. So is there a process by which we could start this and then apply for the TDC funds maybe before, if it's not covered, from our insurance? Because I think this is insurance, not FEMA.
Well, FEMA is this because it was damaged. This one was damaged during Milton last year. FEMA is reimbursing us for a large portion.
But we don't know that.
No.
So we don't know what FEMA will reimburse because we're upgrading. We're not installing the same thing. So we do have insurance, and then there's a question of what will FEMA reimburse. So this potentially could fall on the city. And what I'm trying to figure out is, could we approve, for example, the sole source product, and then maybe bid out the other items that are part of this? Help me, Jim. Talk to me. I'm trying to get to yes on this.
Jim, how much is FEMA reimburse? Scott?
So we have already received a check from our insurance company. I believe, I could be wrong, $171,000.
Okay.
So we have already received that cash. Everything additional beyond that, including the purchase of the dock and including the construction, is going to be 100% reimbursable from FEMA. FEMA mitigation is also going to pay for the structural upgrades that I mentioned before. So we've got the funding to be reimbursed to us from FEMA, and that's been committed.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
That's everything. So any cost above the insurance fund we receive, FEMA is picking up the cost.
That's correct.
In addition to all the other piers and docks we lost, FEMA is also reimbursing us for those as well.
That's correct.
Okay. Because I think we lost every pier dock we had on the water this year during Milton. We lost had received damage to every one of them. And the one that really I can't understand is the one at Waterfront Park, being a concrete structure, how the damage that was done to that one. So.
Mr. Van Wagner, I'm going to vote to approve this one today, but I would like LCRA to provide us with proof that those regattas are in fact confirmed as soon as possible. so that at the next meeting, if that fact on which I'm relying on today is not true, we can address it as a council, assuming it passes.
And so I just want everybody to be clear that this will not be the last time that I push back on what we're seeing coming from procurement, because this is how we end up with $600 per square foot construction costs.
Yeah.
Is that we're not minding the store. So I'm minding the store, and I get that you guys can push it through, but I'm just not going to stop with these. I don't think it's in the best interest of the city or the government.
Well, help me out, because I share your concerns. What I'm hearing, so correct me, is that we either don't have docks or this is what we do. I'm not hearing another solution. If you know of one, I'm more than happy to support you, because I don't want to spend money we don't need to spend either.
I can't fix it that quick. So if those regattas are coming, then you guys need to vote that through. But for me, this is sort of the stance that you've had on some things.
Yeah,
I'm just
I share
not
it.
going to vote for it.
That's the
regardless
one
of
thing-
anything else, I'm just not getting past that point. And this is not only a notice to staff, but it's a notice for everybody else to understand that this just can't come through, and I'm not going to rubber stamp this stuff.
Are we meeting at the end of this month? We have 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Do we have a meeting? Can we table this for 2 weeks till we confirm those regattas? Because for me, that is significant. I mean, you said they have it, and I have not
Well-
seen that. And when I last talked to Ryan Ritchie at the tourism office, he didn't know anything about it. So it could be that it's updated since the last time I talked to him, but my
Well,
understanding is this is time sensitive.
I hadn't spoken to the road club in quite a while, but I knew they were waiting on to see what was some of the things that we had in store for the docks and everything before they submitted for the gala and everything. So I know they've been trying to coach, I think it's 3 galas, I think it is. 3?
Yeah,
They're
it's
trying to
3.
get here, but
My understanding is those regattas are contingent on the approval of these docks, otherwise they're not going to be here.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
that was my understanding when I talked to Mark Van Treese about it.
And I feel you. I understand what you mean by sole source. I've always been against sole source purchases myself. I can tell you many times I stood there and argued against sole source purchases for other items that we had on the agenda, but sometimes we have no other choice, and the reason I don't like sole source is the same reason, is the fact that a lot of times, they're going to charge a price, and then when it's sole source, we have to go to them for repairs, and it just costs us bigger in the long run. But in this case, knowing some of the history of what's been going on, I have no problem with this purchase, so. And we need it. It needs to be done so we can move on and get our dock replaced. It's been a year now that dock has been out of repair. So, well, I entertain a motion if there's no other comment.
I don't want to see this item. I don't want to see this item fail. If there's not going to be a motion, then I'll make a motion to table item number 7 to our next meeting, which is what date?
The 28th of October.
28th to the 28th.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second to table item number 7 to October 28th. Any further discussion?
One question. So us pushing it to October 28th, is that going to mess with the rowing group?
I think we still have time.
We'll still be okay?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think we had more time. And just so I understand the motion, is this to confirm the regattas, or is this to work on the pricing? What are you wanting?
So for
staff-
me, I'll engage and work on the pricing and whether this is the right unit.
Can Freddie? So can we have a discussion real quick about that?
Sure.
What you're wanting us to do
So,
on the
yeah,
staff side?
I'll come in and sit down with him and we can look at those other options, because there are multiple other dock configurations, and AccuDock does not have the monopoly on rowing docks. And there's rotomolded plastic ones that are out there that may be a better fit. And I'm not hearing that we had that discussion. And those can be disassembled and pulled during hurricanes with fairly simple ease. So I just want to make sure that we crossed all of our lines and made sure that we did it, and not just because the rowing company said, hey, this is the docks we want. I'm not spending money because people want something. I'm spending it because it's the right tool at the right funding, not because they said, hey, I want this and this is the company you should go with. And I feel like that's where we're at. So, but I'm happy to work with you on it.
Sure.
So let me ask you, Freddie, when you put this out, there was only one group that actually responded to this?
This is a request from Public Works. This is
Okay.
a dock they specify with the engineer that will work for that area.
Okay.
Actually did the sole source, make sure that no one else can actually provide us that same dock. If there was competition, that would put out for bid. But in this case, there wasn't. That was
There
my
isn't any
job,
competition,
to make sure there's
okay.
competition out there. Once I saw 7 days expired, I feel there's no competition. There's truly a sole source. But this was designed and I guess put together by Public Works, Public Services, I should say.
So let me understand. Reason that you went sole source because nobody else applied.
Say again, I'm sorry?
The reason you went with sole source on this is nobody else replied.
Correct.
Okay.
So what if we're stuck with that again in 2 weeks? Or 3
I think
weeks?
that we can get, I have confidence Mr. Howard will hustle to get us some more information on the price, and I assure I will hustle with the tourism office to get us more information on the regattas and what they need, and making sure that we're spending money in the right place for the regattas. So I feel like if we push it off to the 28th, we can get answers by then.
And if this is truly the best unit for the use, then I'll vote for it. But I don't believe it is. And I just, when I saw $20,000 for a ramp, that sends every siren in my head off.
What's going on?
Now all of a sudden, for 2 ramps, we're going to
Pay
basically buy a new
$40,000.
truck. I mean,
How much does a ramp normally go for, would you say?
so it just depends on what it's made and how it's reinforced and all of that stuff. I mean, it's a pretty long ramp, but that cost is
Way out
that
there.
cost was enough for me to go. I don't know
Okay.
about that.
I have no knowledge in this area, that's why I'm asking you. Okay.
Well, like I say, it's no standard price depending upon the specifications of the ramp and everything. So some of them out there even more expensive, So.
It's government
So-
money. It's cheap.
So,
Well, I share your concern. So we have a motion and a second to table it, right?
Yep, I have a motion and a second to table item number 7 until October 28th. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
And Chair vote aye as well. Motion passes 4-0. Mr. Van Wagner, if you can get us some more information on the regattas.
Yes, sir.
And everything, and
Yeah.
what they need in order to be able to host all those, okay? Because I know it's been some talk for quite some time now trying to host them and everything, and it can be a big economic boost.
Yeah.
Boost to our economy here. I think last time I heard it was somewhere up to almost $2 million and everything for the regattas coming here. So,
It can be.
yep, so thank you. All right. Item number 19 is a final consideration of ordinance number 2025-038.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Clermont, Lake County, Florida, amending Chapter 119, Section 119, 123, to establish an expedited building permit issuance process for residential subdivision plats pursuant to Section 173.073, Florida statutes. Amending Chapter 119 of the City Code to require approval of plat submittals within the city limits by an administrative authority and to incorporate other statutory requirements pursuant to Section 177.071, Florida statutes, providing for conflict, severability, administrative correction of scrivener's error, publication, and effective date.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'm
Yes, sir.
presenting this. So this is a staff-driven ordinance. It has been presented to you before. It has failed before by a 2-2 vote. The reason why it's before you again is because there are 2 Florida statutes that we are not currently complying with in our city code. The first regards which I think really wasn't the matter of debate in the last meeting, but regards an expedited residential subdivision building process whereby developers, once they deliver a preliminary plat to you, will be entitled to build up to a certain number of homes, provided that it's bonded and that there are certain assurances that the city has that the job will be done. So that was bought in the legislature. It is now the law of the land, and we're required by October 1st, 2024 to adopt something that complies with that. We haven't done it yet. I thought, and maybe incorrectly, that it would be easier to do at the same time as we take up the plat revisions that we are also required to do, and that leads to the second change that is required by the Florida statutes, which is the legislature had received a lot of reports of city councils and city commissions believing that they could reject plats in their discretion, and that is something that has been a matter of discussion here as well. So they adopted legislation to take it out of your hands. Can't trust the city councils, can't trust the city commissions. So they're taking that away from your home rule. It is now the law of the state of Florida that when a developer presents a plat to you, it will be approved administratively. You will no longer have to vote on that. Now, it really just codifies the existing law because supposedly you didn't have any discretion either, right? As long as it ticked all the boxes.
Right.
So what this does is it creates someone in your staff who will review and approve. In fact, it has to go through several people to be approved here, and designates who that person is. We do have a proposed very minor modification if it is your intention to approve this. In other words, right now it says that your planning and development director will be the person who approves. We're going to ask you to consider an amendment to that planning and development director or such person as designated by the city manager. And the reason for that is you have a city reorganization going on right now at your staff level. So it may be that your planning and development director has a different title soon. But in any event, that's the basis of why it's in front of you. And that concludes my report.
So basically, the state have taken that responsibility away from us, and so why do we even have to, I never understood why we even have to vote on this if
Actually, I think that's a really good point, Mayor. So I presented to you a resolution a few months ago to patch things up. In other words, we already have a resolution in place that enables the plats to be approved this way. And that was so that we could get something in place immediately. I think you're correct that the fact of the matter is our code is illegal as it stands. So I wouldn't recommend that we comply with it. However, I think that gives people the wrong idea when they go and look up our code. You know, people hire consultants and they'll see these laws on the books that aren't correct. So I am asking that we bring it in compliance with Florida law.
that's the reason we vote, and we couldn't just bring it in compliance even though it's a state law, because we cannot supersede any state laws anyway.
Correct.
So, okay. Well, I just never understood if it's state law why we have to come through and we never had any real say-so over plats anyway. Okay, once they came to us, we were just checking a square on the plats. We couldn't deny them or change them anyway. Well, supposedly, we wasn't supposed to be able to deny them, but I guess that's one of the controversies is the fact that people want to change them.
There are those who want to rage at the dying of the light and to make a good fight. So I understand.
Okay, well.
Could we just adopt an ordinance that says we adopt Florida law as amended from time to time?
We could. I mean, we could.
Because if the statute changes, now we have to change our ordinance again. We got to pay you to do it. We could just adopt an ordinance that says we comply with Florida law as amended because we adopt this today, and then if the law changes next year, we have to change it again. And if you don't happen to be here, we might not have adequate representation, and then now we've got a statute or an ordinance that we don't need to have. Can we just do that?
I think you can. I mean, you as a city council can do a lot of things. That is one of them. I still think that you get presented with, well, first of all, that still doesn't get us out of the expedited permitting aspect of it. If you wanted to bifurcate that, we could create a different ordinance for you. I still think it's a problem that when people look up your code and they see a procedure, and then what if they spend money and time trying to comply with something that's on our books? And by the way, plating, it's not cheap, you know.
Which is illegal.
I think it sends the wrong, but that's from my opinion as
So
your
this
city
is
attorney.
basically so we can go ahead and fix our codes,
So
you know.
in my argument against that, Allison, would be maybe there's times that we do want to break the law. And we want to say we're not going to follow, because it may be their rule, but it may be an unjust rule. And there are times that we as a council need to be able to stand up and say, that's not okay. You're not going to do that to our residents. And we're willing to say no and move down that litigation. So I don't want to take that right away from
Well,
us.
we've been doing it, by the way.
Well,
We've passed multiple acts in violation of SB 180.
SB 180.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
that's fair. Good point.
Fight the man.
God bless.
Well, you'll be happy to know.
SB
God bless home
180.
rule.
You know, well, I don't think we violated it yet, but we put opposition into it so far.
We're working on it.
Technically, that is correct.
But we on that doorstep. But then again, some of the state laws we can tweak to fit our needs. So I don't want to say we just arbitrarily adopt all state laws and everything, because we can tweak some of them to fit our circumstances and everything here as well. So.
Are you going to do, you want to have public, or you want me to make a motion?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a. Yeah, I gotta go to public. I'm sorry. No, I didn't forget. I didn't mean to get in that much discussion before opening up the public. But this is a public hearing. Anybody, anyone in the public wish to speak to this item may come to the microphone and state your name and address and have 3 minutes. Anyone in the public wish to address this item may come to your microphone and state your name and address and have 3 minutes. Seeing no one, I close public comment and bring it back to council. What say council?
Motion to approve item number 19, ordinance number 2025-38, final plats, with the amendment that either the planning director or the city manager designee oversee.
A second.
All right, have a motion and a second for approval of item number 19, ordinance number 2025-038, final plats with the amendments as given. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, roll call. Councilmember Strange.
Aye.
Councilmember Howard.
Aye.
Councilmember Myers.
Aye.
And the chair vote aye as well. Motion passes 4-0.
You made adjustments. We made adjustments that I'm okay with.
Item number 20 is for land purchase approval and budget amendment. Who's handling this?
Yeah, I'll take
You?
this one,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor. As you recall, for over a decade, the city has been leasing and looking to, actually desiring to purchase the De Hoya property. So in May, the city manager and I went down to Winter Park to talk to Ms. De Hoya's at her house, and actually walked out with a very positive. She was willing to consider selling it to us and asked us to make an offer. So on October 1st, we sent her an offer after talking to council members who told us, yes, go forward with this through conversations in the budget workshop. And on October 6th, she sent us an agreement to sell both properties for $4.5 million. The properties are here on the screen in question. There's two good-sized properties that she's willing to sell us, both of those for the $4.5 million, and are not to exceed 4.5. So staff is recommending approval of this item number 20, the land purchase agreement, basically asking for your approval to authorize the city manager to purchase these properties.
Is there an information, there was none in the packet, on inspection period and any protection for the city if we're not happy with what we find when we get in that the inspection period?
That hasn't been negotiated yet, and so I think that's, here's what I would say is, it's always better for a buyer to have as much discretion as possible, to have the inspections that need to be done, and to, during that period, be able to terminate the contract if something comes up. If there's oil tanks discovered in the ground or something that would cost $5 million to clean up. Not expecting it, but, and that would be a problem for your water. In any event, what I think we're asking for here today is approval to make an offer at this purchase price, subject to reasonable attorney-led terms regarding allocation of closing costs, due diligence, ability to terminate, and I would say no less than 90 days due diligence, but I would always ask for 120 or something like that.
120 days?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Well, look, I mean, when Walmart puts a contract on a piece of property, they'll try to get 18 months with the right to extend another 12 months because there's lots of reasons, but I mean, time value money. By the time you pay the price a year from now, it'll actually be less. But also just, you never know what's going to come up in due diligence.
Okay, yeah, true. Which I'm still concerned about the one little house that sits there on the one little strip of that property, you know, where that's coming. That'll be another discussion later.
We can build a wall.
Huh?
I said we'll build a big wall, big beautiful wall.
Mr. Mathis, maybe I missed it and everything, but I know we did a appraisal on this.
We did. So we did appraisal on both properties. The larger one came in at 3.24 million, and the smaller one is 1.485. So total was 4.725 million.
So the appraisal is 4.7. So we actually trying to get both of them for
4.5.
A couple $100,000 less than what and she's agreed to that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Verbal.
Wow. This is a public hearing. Anyone in the public wish to speak to this item may come to the microphone, state your name and address, and have 3 minutes. This is a public forum. Anyone in the public wish to speak to this item may come to the microphone and state your name and address and have 3 minutes. Seeing no one?
Nope, hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Brian Bain, 245 Nautica Mile Drive. You know, the more things change, the less they are the same. But this has been one thing that's been on council discussion and city discussion for a number of years. And I consider this really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I think at some point, I think past councils thought this was never going to come to fruition. In fact, I think people sat in those chairs and said, I don't think this is ever going to come to fruition. And the fact that we have this opportunity, that this is something that the city has been pursuing for a number of years, and the city to be able to work with the Main Street, to work with the CRA, to work with our central business district, our historic downtown, to be able to influence and shape the future of our downtown area by purchasing these properties cannot be understated. I recognize the cost. It is under the appraised value, and this is, I think, in my opinion, an appropriate use of those rainy day funds, excess funds that we have available, because this isn't going to come up again. If the city passes on this will get sold privately, and we'll never have that opportunity. We'll never be able to really have a conversation in earnest about what we want to see for those areas. So I think this is an opportunity to enhance the legacy of a longtime Clermont family, to collaborate and solidify that partnership. And I just want to say thank you to the De Hoyos family for giving us this opportunity to do that, and I encourage you to vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Patrick Bianchi, 810 West Montrose Street. I'm also the president and board of directors of Main Street. The implications of not purchasing this property could be very large. With your current code, if any private developer decides to purchase it, they can put a tiny house on it and do nothing else with it. I think the repercussions of that is vast when you just purchased or you're going through the comprehensive plan process. So I think it is wise for you guys to purchase this. As one of the few properties I'd say that is a wise decision to purchase this as a city. And then you can ultimately control the destiny from there with the comprehensive plan and the people that you're bringing on as consultants. So Main Street is 100% in support of purchasing this as the city. And we hope that you get to yes here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? This is a public hearing. Anyone in the public wish to address this item may come to the microphone and state your name and address and have 3 minutes. Anyone else? Seeing no one else, I close public comment and bring it back to council. What say council?
I think that this purchase is a testament to our new leadership, so I want to thank Rick and Dan for making this come to fruition. It has changed my outlook on parts of Meet Us in the Middle, the way that it needed to be lined up on 8th Street if we didn't own the art walk, but having that full piece of the art walk will change the way that we do downtown. It completes part of our master plan that we were expecting never to happen again. So I'm going to support it.
I move to approve item number 20, land purchase approval and budget amendment, on the conditions that we have 120 days due diligence and that we have a workshop no less than 20 days before the end of the inspection and cancellation period.
Second.
Do we need a workshop, or just, we got to do diligence and it's written into the contract? If we see something that's very negative there, do we really need a workshop, or just give them the authority to go ahead and say, come back to us and say yay or nay?
Yeah, so the reason why I rushed to do the motion is because I fear that we are spending several $1 million with no plan. And I want to have a workshop specifically so that we have time to also have an agenda item if need be, if we don't have a plan. Because if we don't have a plan, I would not final vote approve this one. But I think that there's wisdom in moving forward with this process, and I think 120 days gives our staff time to put together a plan, a proposal. I would not support $4.5 million of our general fund going into a piece of real estate with no plan. So that's why I made the motion the way I did. That's my rationale. So I want to give us a chance. I think this is a great opportunity, but I also think this is a lot of public money going into one piece of property that we currently do not have a plan for.
And that's why I seconded it, was because I knew where you're going with that. And I think that having that opportunity to have a discussion saying, here's what we're going to do, here's how we're going to piece part of this off. I mean, we know we have to piece off the art walk. How big is that going to be? What's the rest of that property going to look like? And how does that impact the DPZ and that growth side? We need to be able to tell them, hey, here's the piece that we're going to use for ours. Here's the other piece, and what is the best use on that? And so by working with those partners who we're already engaging with, I think it's a wise thing to do. So that's why I supported it.
Well, I don't think in 120 days we're going to have a plan to say what we're going to do with this piece of property, whether we purchase now a year from now, because my vision is the fact that once we purchase it, we can go out and come together and try to make some type of decision on what we want to do with the piece of property, and then go out there and we have control of it. We can put an RFP or Q or whatever you want to put out there and have somebody come in and meet what we demand. I mean, I've thought about maybe parking 2-3 stories. You can do commercial, you can do a mixed use piece down there, parking as well as commercial, as residential. I mean, there's so many things you can do with that piece of property. As Mr. Howard said, we already know we want to do only one portion with the art walk, which is going to tie in from the present art walk into the Meet Us in the Middle project. So that is one other part. But the rest of it, I think it's going to take a little time of us sitting down and having somebody come in and give us some insight on what we can do with it. Okay.
Well, we're approving $4.5 million of the public's money, and I expect staff to get to work on it right away.
And I think that,
well, I don't want to put staff in the position of trying to develop a piece of property. I think we need to go out there. I mean, we want to abide and control it, but I don't think staff is at that position to be able to.
But that's part of what DPZ is going to be able to do, is give us that guidance. But we need to tell them, here's what we need.
Yes.
The way I would envision it, here's what we need for the art walk. The rest of this, figure out what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
But we need to kind of identify what part we're going to use, so that way they know what they're doing, because they're not going to come back and say, hey, by the way, can you tell us what to do with this piece of property?
Well, I agree. You can tell them, here it is, what can you give us? And I don't see them rushing through and doing that in a couple of months or so. I think it's going to take it time. But we can, I do have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion.
Yep.
All right, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? And the chair votes aye as well. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, Mr.
Kumbaya up there tonight.
All right, item number 21, Department of Homeland Security staffing for adequate fire and emergency response grant acceptance. Are you doing the presentation, Chief? Okay.
Afternoon, Mayor and Council. We were awarded the FEMA SAFER grant just a few weeks ago. That was in response to conversations that happened during the budget workshop. There was the application window that came up during the summer. We applied. We asked for 15 firefighters to be able to put a 4-person unit down in Wellness Way, and we have been awarded. The grant will pay for 75% of salaries in year 1 and 2, and will pay 35% in year 3. Now, along with that, there are some things that we're going to have to cover as far as costs go. Part of that is going to be the safety equipment we're going to have to purchase, the bunker gear, uniforms, other items that they're going to need to be able to come online. So that amount is it's just under $400,000 for that. And if you'll notice in the packet, there was a budget amendment in this year in the amount of $675,000 to get this across the finish line. But one of the items that was approved during the consent agenda was a purchase for vehicles. And that was also a conversation that we had during the budget workshop, where we had 2 Ford F-150s and 2 Expeditions. And we agreed that we would only purchase 1 F-150 and 1 Expedition. So our appropriations came through with the full request. So the money that we did not spend on those 2 vehicles is still sitting in the account for our capital vehicles. So that amount that's remaining, which is $138,000, could go towards reducing that budget amendment by that amount. So it'd be a little north of $500,000 for this fiscal year to get those firefighters on board. We are in a recruitment process right now. We've already had conversations on the shift that we would need to do to be able to turn that into a safer hire. So if the grant is accepted by council today, we are prepared to immediately move forward with getting those personnel in the hiring process.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. This is a public forum. Anyone in the public wish to address this item may come to the microphone and state your name and address and have 3 minutes.
Hey, you guys all know the importance of this. I don't think I have to educate
Name and
anybody on
address,
anything
please, sir.
here. Pardon me?
Name and address, please,
Oh,
sir.
sorry. It's Chief Tom Bennett, Clermont Fire Department. I'm going to abstain from my address.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
I understand.
So the importance of this can't be understated. Just with the growth of the city, both population and square miles wise, we just need more staff in the field to make sure we're getting the people to the calls in the right amount of time. Our priority is the people behind us, and I know it is you as well. I just, again, can't thank you enough for allowing us to apply for this grant. I can't thank these guys enough for putting the grant together. It was bulletproof. I got to read it before they sent it off. And my guy at the IFF reviewed it. They had already sent it, and he was stunned. He was like, great job. So, again, our asks are for public safety and nothing that's toys, nothing that's extra things, we really want to provide that high level of public service and public safety. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Anemic, Regency Hills, real quick. I don't want to keep you guys that long. After going to the BCC meeting, they even admitted that Clermont is growing faster than wildfire. All right, so, I mean, really, we got the Groves coming in. We can't even tell you what's going on Wellness Way, which we have no power on, but Wellness Ridge is going to be 1,850 homes. Okay, we're going to need this, all right? So I'm in support of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? This is a public forum. Anyone in the public wish to address this item may come to the microphone and state your name and address and have 3 minutes. Seeing no one else, I close public comment.
Motion to approve item number 21 for the Safer Response Grant.
A second.
I have a motion and a second for approval of item number 21. Any further discussion?
Does the motion include a budget amendment of $675,000 or $537,000?
I'm leaving it at the 675.
The budget amendment will actually come later at the first quarter.
Okay.
So that's just an FYI that, so the budget,
Great.
after the first quarter, going to be bringing you a few of the budget amendments.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's all.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And chair vote aye as well. Motion passes 4-0. Item number 22, Assistant to Firefighters Grant. AFG, Acceptance and Budget Amendment.
Afternoon again. I'm actually going to allow my Assistant Chief, Rick Castler, come up. He wrote both of these grants, so I think it's only fitting that he gets to come up and present for one of the projects that he put through. So he did an amazing job this year, and I can't thank him enough for the hard work he's put in. I mean, literally in 1 week, we had almost $3.7 million come in grant funding, so it was an amazing week that week. But Chief?
Rick Castler, Assistant Chief of Admin, Clermont Fire, Mayor, Council, thank you for here. This is the AFG grant. As one of our initiatives for the health and wellness of our firefighters is finding ways to reduce cancer. Our fire trucks, unfortunately, are a prime producer of that. And our current stations, we don't have the ability to cost effectively retrofit those stations with capture devices. So one alternative that's out there is a direct source capture that actually gets installed on the trucks at about $11,000 per truck. With our trucks, this is a 90% match, and this will provide an ability to put this equipment on every single piece of apparatus that we have, reducing the exposure to benzene and a few other chemicals that we can't pronounce, and hopefully reduce that risk and increase the longevity and the healthy, happy retirement for our firefighters.
All righty. This is a public forum. Anyone in the public wish to address this item may come to the microphone and state your name and address and have 3 minutes. Anyone in the public wish to address this item may come to the microphone and state your name and address and have 3 minutes. Seeing no one, I close public comment. Bring it back to council. What say council?
Motion to approve item number 22, Assistance to Firefighters Grant.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval of item number 22. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair vote aye as well. We need a break? All righty, introduction. Item number 23, ordinance number 2025-031, introduction, Olympus PUD Master Sign Plan.
An ordinance under the Code of Ordinances of the City of Clermont, Lake County, Florida, amending the official zoning map of the City of Clermont referred to in Chapter 122 of Ordinance Number 289C, Code of Ordinances, rezoning the real properties described herein as shown below, providing for conflict, severability, the administrative correction of scrivener's error, recording, publication, and an effective date.
Motion? Yeah? No, we don't. Unless you want to.
No. I make a motion to accept item number 23, ordinance number 2025-031, Intro Olympus PUD Master Sign Plan Amendment.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a second. A motion and a second for item number 23, ordinance number 2025-031, introduction of Olympus PUD Master Sign Plan Amendment. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And chair vote aye as well. Motion passes 4. Item number 24, introduction of ordinance number 2025-034.
An ordinance of the City of Clermont, Lake County, Florida, adopting the small-scale comprehensive plan amendment for the City of Clermont, Florida, pursuant to the Local Government Comprehensive Planning Act, Chapter 163, Part 2, Florida statutes, setting forth the authority for adoption of the small-scale comprehensive plan amendment, setting forth the purpose and intent of the small-scale comprehensive plan amendment, providing for the adoption of the small-scale comprehensive plan amendment, establishing the legal status of the small-scale comprehensive plan amendment, preventing for conflict, severability, administrative correction of scrivener's error, publication, and an effective date.
Thank you. There a motion?
Motion to approve item number 24, ordinance number 2025-34, intro to proactive automotive small-scale comprehensive plan amendment.
A second.
We have a motion and a second for the introduction of ordinance number 2025-034. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair vote aye as well. Motion passes 4-0. Item number 25, an introduction for ordinance number 2025-035.
An ordinance under the Code of Ordinances of the City of Clermont, Lake County, Florida, amending the official zoning map of the City of Clermont referred to in Chapter 122 of Ordinance 289C, Code of Ordinances, rezoning the real properties described herein as shown below, providing for conflict, severability, administrative correction of scrivener's error, recording, publication, and an effective date.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve item number 2025, item number 25, ordinance number 2025-035, ensure proactive auto rezoning.
A second.
I have a motion and a second for approval. Item number 25, introduction for ordinance number 2025-035. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair vote aye as well. Motion passes 4-0. Item number 26 is an introduction for ordinance number 2025-036.
An ordinance under the Code of Ordinances of the City of Clermont, Lake County, Florida, providing for the annexation of a certain parcel of land in accordance with the interlocal service boundary agreement dated December 2nd, 2014, providing for conflict, severability, administrative correction of scrivener's error, recording, publication, and an effective date.
Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve item number 26, ordinance number 2025-036, enter to Hammock Point Reserve annexation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval of item number 26, introduction for ordinance number 2025-036. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair vote aye as well. Motion passed 4-0. Item number 27, ordinance number 2025-037, introduction, Louisa Grande annexation.
An ordinance under the Code of Ordinances of the City of Clermont, Lake County, Florida, providing for the annexation of a certain parcel of land in accordance with the interlocal service boundary agreement dated December 2nd, 2014, providing for conflicts, severability, administrative correction of scrivener's error, recording, publication, and an effective date.
Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve item number 27, ordinance number 2025-037, enter to Louisa Grande annexation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval of item number 27, introduction of ordinance for ordinance number 2025-037. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair vote aye as well. Do we want to do your amendment, or we go to reports?
What you got? Forgot about that.
I'll make it quick. This is actually fairly important, and we may want to bring the fire department up here to discuss this as well. So we went to city council today, or excuse me, county commission, the BOCC, and discussed with them beginning our own transport for fire ambulance. Okay. Unfortunately, things did not go even remotely as we anticipated. They decided to push back heavily that if we were going to invest in transport service, we should invest in their transport service, that we should be supplying them with facilities, that we should be doing. So I spoke for myself, not the whole council, and I did make that clear. I said I was not interested in spending our citizen tax dollars to subsidize their lack of providing us with adequate service. My words, they did not appreciate that. But it's truly how I feel, that if we're going to get there, we need to be able to get there. We went on to explain to them that we as a council had faith in our fire department, and that they had presented us with some initial plans on how we were going to get to that 6-minute response time and 10-minute transport time, and that we would be more comfortable having that under our direction because we can actually hold our staff accountable. To which I was told, well, we can hold the county commissioners accountable. Yes, you can't make these things up. So it got a little bit heated, and they pushed back on us as if we weren't doing our part. And I explained to them that we were, and that we were there to be a partner. And so did Rick, and so did Dan, and so did Chief. And everybody, we were all pushing in the same direction. Citizens were there pushing in the same direction. And it was interesting. They brought up studies from 2017 that said we're going to fracture the system. They came up with every excuse. They were very well coached. So what I learned in this is that there's something called a Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity. And guess who controls that certificate? The Board of County Commissioners. And guess how many there are in the entire county? There's one. Yes. So this is something that they've done. They control this as a monopoly. They are not allowing us to provide better service to our citizens, which this council has, in a general way, said we would like to do. And I explained that to them. They just felt like we weren't, they did not want to partner with us. They did not want to hear it. I explained that we were investing millions of our own taxpayer dollars to enhance their service, and they were not having any of it.
They just didn't care.
So they said that they're going to put the first 2 ambulances down here, but over the next, was it 6 or 10 years, that they're going to add the other 10 ambulances. It was over a long period of time where I was like, what? So they are doing a minimal job to get it moved forward where, we know that we need to have 6 ambulances to provide that 10-minute transport time. So they essentially denied us, and I'll add my additional stuff onto this because I don't want to tell it, but I would love for Chief and for these folks to give you what they saw as well, because I think that we need to make a decision and make a statement with that decision.
Yeah, some key things there. They were really focused on what's called unit utilization, which is the amount of time that a unit is committed while it's on duty. And, the numbers that you're really looking for is around 0.2, 0.25. That's about 20 to 25% of the time a unit is actually committed to going to a call, taking a patient to the hospital. And, we saw numbers with the county where they were going way past that with some of the units that are out there. And that's part of what the problem is, because we're having a lot of call concurrency. That means that, they're busy on a call and another call drops, so now you got to pull a unit in over here. And we've even seen times in the county where they are out of units. There's nobody available, so we're having to bring, ambulances in from outside of the county. Part of the data that we had up there today, I just did a quick, mass of how many calls exceeded a 20-minute response from, for an ambulance to get on scene, because that's part of our plan. We get the paramedics on scene pretty quick, but for a critical patient, we have to get them to the hospital. We can't treat them in the field. We can't do a STEMI operation. We can't give them thrombolytics. A lot of other things that go along with, with heart attack patients, stroke patients, trauma alert, sepsis alerts. Those have to get to a hospital before they can actually start receiving treatment. And time is critical, and that's what we're trying to do, is shorten that time down. But there were, year to date, just this year alone, there were over 250 calls that exceeded a 20-minute time threshold. And inside that group, I had confirmed heart attacks, strokes, heart problems, breathing problems, critical falls, trauma patients that had to be flown out. I mean, there was a whole litany there. A lot of these were backed up with reports that I got from my staff in the field, where they came back and out of frustration wrote an email to me, to their battalion chief, and said, this isn't right. This needs to be fixed. So I've been saving all those and kind of, keeping a hold of them. But I don't think the commission really fully understood the gravity of what we're dealing with. Industry best practices has that ambulance on scene on a moderate or high risk EMS call within a 10-minute time frame 90% of the time. What we're looking at here in Lake County, and that's call to arrival. That's from the pickup at 911 to the arrival of the ambulance. What we've been measuring with the county is just dispatch of the ambulance to arrival of the ambulance, which is it's a big section of that time, but it's not the entire time. And we're at over 18 minutes year to date. So we are, what is termed in our world is a gross deviation from the standard. And the only way that we're going to fix that is by adding ambulances. And we've ran the model. We have the analytical software that does the what if analysis. And we dropped ambulances in one at a time, rerunning it, and What it takes to get us down to that 10-minute response time call to arrival is 6 ambulances in addition to what we have today. And that's based on today's numbers. 5 years from now, we're going to have more people. We've grown by 50% in the last 10 years. The county as a whole has 125,000 more residents than we had 10 years ago. And we have not been increasing the ambulances. So we need 10 ambulances just to stabilize the system today. But that's not going to answer the increased demand next year, the year after, and the year after. So we've got to get caught up, and then we got to start pacing the growth. And that's the challenge, and I don't think the county commission has really fully wrapped their head around that picture yet. We're at the edge of a cliff right now. That's why we saw times go from 15 minutes for our ambulance to 18 minutes in just 1 year.
Well, Chief, it's true. I think the last time you gave me a report, you said the county has 22 and they need 32 to have the 32. But the problem I keep seeing and hearing is not so much having the ambulance, it's the manning. Okay, being able to man these ambulances and everything is one of the problems we keep having throughout the county. That concerns me, even with us taking on the system. As you're sitting here saying we need 6 ambulances, I'm hearing now up to 6 ambulances, and you tell me we need 15 people for every 2 ambulances.
Yeah, we're not going to do it in one big bite. We're going to do it a step at a time.
No, but still, my concern is, can we do the manning as well? If the county is having a problem manning and everything right now, are we going to be able to man these ambulances and everything and keep them up? Because I know that was a problem before you got here, when we used to do our own service here, was the cost of it and trying to keep them manned. And being able to house them was the problem we had before. Mm-hmm. Okay, so those are the things that concern me, and not that I'm against doing our own ambulance. I just think, as I've been saying all along, I think we're rushing in this too fast, and it's a lot of things it's a lot of issues need to be sorted out before we go too far down this road. Because for some reason I've always known we're not going to get county to cooperate, and I must agree that we footing the bill right now, being the largest city in Lake County, and what we pay in Lake County for ambulance service, what we paying to the county right now. If we try to pull out of that, that would really hurt them. And I'm sorry, I feel that way. But without us being in there, the county would really, really suffer, and they're not willing to do that. Okay, so some kind of way, I feel like we have to sit down and come up with some solution and get them to agree to what we're going to do. And here's the other problem I'm having with that. You're saying we're only going to start with 2 ambulances, okay? And you're telling me we're going to need 6. So in the meantime, while we only have 2 ambulances, where are we going to get the other filled in from?
Well, and that, with
are we
the
going to depend upon the county?
That was the plan, is a partnership. How we get to 6. I didn't. It doesn't bother me if county does 4, we do 4, we each do 3. But we basically got told today that we don't want your help.
Right, and that's it. And that's what that's one of them things, and one of them things that bothers me. If we only doing 2, and we need, you're saying we're going to eventually need 6, and we only have 2 now, and the county isn't going to support us. Where are we going to get the other help?
So
let me. And like I say, I'm not against the ambulance. It's just a lot of.
Let me help you out.
That details need to be worked out first.
But let me help you out where we were with that. We told them that we would be a partner, that we'd add 2 this year, hopefully 2 next year, and that all we wanted to do was primarily stay on our ISBA unless it was a critical call, so that we didn't get into what they call the vortex, where we transport a patient to Leesburg and then we get a call in Lady Lake, and then next thing you know, we're not even in our area. Right. So that was the discussion, and everybody was on board that we want to be a team player. We want their ambulances here. We want to support them, and we know that that's going to cost this city money. They basically had added, and I had never seen that third part. We had our first agreement that we had all talked about. They didn't want that one. So then they came back to us with a second agreement, which we were all able to get on board. So then there was the third option of, they'll give us an ambulance and we have to run it. So we get the joy of managing their ambulance with their staff. So that didn't work. So their fourth option was to do nothing, and that's what they chose to do.
Right.
And so this ask today is for us to apply for the certificate of public convenience and necessity. They're going to deny it, but that is the next step to being able to do exactly what you are doing, Mayor Murray, or what you're asking for, is being able to put this into a comprehensive plan where we say, this is how we would build our ambulance service, and with our own certificate, and it lets them know that we're serious. Like I said, they will most likely deny it, but this is the next step that we need to take in order to somehow bring this on, if it's at all possible. And in that process, it will bring you those items that you're looking for so that we can, as a council, because then we're making all the decisions, then we can say, this is how we would build it, this is what we want. And at that point, the county's either going to say, yes, we're going to work with you, or no, we're not going to work with you. And it just gives us that leverage as the largest city who we're being ignored. And of course, they're going to placate and say, oh, yeah, you can hold us accountable. Remind me that when we still got roads over here that we were promised years ago. I mean, so forgive me for not getting on board of the rah-rah with the county.
Well, I'm not saying that's one of the things scare me. Who? Allison, okay.
Yeah, with the delay, I didn't want to interrupt. Just keep in mind I have a slight delay. Mr. Mayor, you asked about how we can pay for this and the county cannot. And the answer to that, I want to remind everybody, is because we're able to leverage firefighters and EMS, unlike the county that's purely EMS. And as far as filling the positions, we had, Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, 95 applicants for 15 positions. So I think that we certainly are capable. I am about to walk into my daughter's senior night. I'm going to do my best to hang on as long as I can, but you have my support in this, Mr. Howard.
Okay, thank you.
I will just point out that in the process for applying for a certificate, every county has to lay out criteria, things that have to be satisfied. And the way that Lake County has laid it out, it essentially creates what I call a quasi-judicial process. So it's possible that based on the evidence that the city brings at that hearing to demonstrate fulfilling the elements, that even if the county denies it, it could be a reversible error. Now, I'm not proposing that we go in there looking for a fight, but I think I just want you to know, they're held by their own laws too. They're responsible to follow their own code, and if they make the wrong decision based on the evidence at the hearing, it could be wrong.
Well, yes, I understand. Here's the question I have for you, Mr. Wise. The fact that if we do this and we decide we're going to take this on and ignore the county and take it on, and of course we only have 2 ambulances, and the county say, hey, we're not going to support you any longer, where is that going to leave us? Okay, when I got a call, I got 1 ambulance out here on this call already. He has to transport somebody to Orlando, which is going to tie him up for an hour to 2 hours. I got all these calls coming in, and I only have 2 ambulances in service. See, these are things that scare me. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know we can. Well, they required to.
Yeah, so
and we required to assist them as well. I know in one of the reports you gave me, Chief, and everything, I asked that question about the fact that if we do this and we kind of work with them, are they going to require us to answer calls outside the city?
They wanted us to go countywide, and we told them we would do closest unit response within our ISPA, and we would go to life-threatening calls anywhere in the county.
Right.
And that was just so that, like, Mr. Howard explained, we don't get caught up in the vortex, and you go from Leesburg to Lady Lake to Astor, and the truck's never even in Clermont for the entire shift.
And these are the things that scare me. And so, Mr. Wall, my question to you is how do we avoid those type of things if we take this on ourselves? I mean, like I said, it's a lot of them type of details I think we need to do because
much easier if we're independent. Then we have a lot more control over what we do and where we go.
We go independent, but we have to have. I mean, are we ready to go to?
I mean, to your point, and I think the legal aspect of that question, Mayor, is that one of the factors Lake County has to consider in reviewing an application is what is the benefit to the county residents.
Right.
So, for example, if we did in our application decide to limit it just to the city or something, they could then, go cut against us on that factor. The more that the city is willing to serve, the more that cuts in our favor. So it's a strategic, I mean, from a legal side, that's a strategic thing to think about. Otherwise, it's purely practical.
You're right, and there's no problem with us wanting to help service that, but then I could say, we gotta go with more than 2 ambulances, okay? So
Well-
can we fund that and everything, and go, personally, I say, hey, if we're gonna do it, do the whole 6 ambulance and get away from the county altogether.
And so I don't disagree with that, but we can't do that until we get the
Right.
COP
Right.
CN. And so that's the next step. That's why I brought it forward today. And what it does is it just allows us to say, listen, you guys either work with us or we're going to look at how we do this ourselves. One of the things I learned today is that 72% of the funding for the ambulances is coming from direct reimbursement. The neat part is in Clermont, we're 80%, or excuse me, we're 80%. So we're affecting their collections by that much.
Right.
So
I know.
there is probably enough money being collected. Now, this is a guess, and I don't know, and this would come from them. But the best guess is that there's enough money being collected to pay for this ambulance service. And we're not asking for too much. We're not asking not to be. We politely asked to be part of the team. Every single person said, we're here to be on the team. And they told us, we don't want your team, and we're going to do this our way. And maybe we'll get back to you in 6 months, a year, or 2 years.
Well, let me ask this one question, Mr. White. I know it was one report that you gave a couple months ago, Chief, that we needed an ambulance, there wasn't nothing available, and you called Orange County. And Orange County assisted us within 30 minutes or so. Is there any kind of way we can do an agreement with Orange County?
We can Chief, I don't know if you have something you want
I
to say.
mean,
on
we
that.
we have the mutual aid agreements with our surrounding counties. So when we get into a situation where the system becomes overwhelmed, we have and we can call for assistance from them. But for to have something on a regular basis, are you talking about if we get into becoming an independent?
If we become independent,
absolutely.
we can't depend upon county, because I just don't see county,
I've already had conversations with Orange County about us having agreements across county lines on fire calls.
Yeah,
so I mean that's something that would reciprocate, because we're going to have stations that are going to be closer to some of their areas than they are. So when they have critical calls, the public doesn't care what's on the side of the truck. They just want the truck to show up.
Right, that's true. And I kind of been thinking from the get-go that I don't think county going to support us, because as he just stated, they need the money, they need the funding, and we are one of the biggest funders, okay? And if we pull out, I mean, they really in a lot of trouble up there, okay? And not just an ambulance, but a whole lot of other things that goes on in the county. Just like I think we had a request for them for Hartwell Morris Road, asking us to give them loan them, chip in $6 million.
I'll cover that today as well. I'll cover that in my report. But long story short, this is the next step that we need to move forward. And if everybody has it, it's mine. I'll make a motion to approve for Clermont Fire Department to apply for the certificate of public convenience and necessity. You guys apply, correct? Not city.
Yeah. Mr. Walworth.
No, it's the city. It's the city.
Okay.
City.
Let me modify that. Motion to approve the city to apply for the certificate of public convenience and necessity.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion. Excuse me, a motion and a second for the city to apply for a certificate of what? What was it?
Convenience and necessity.
Convenience and necessity.
Leave it to government to come
Any
up with
further
acronyms.
discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Wait, was that an aye opposed or an
She
aye?
said aye for it, no.
So it's 4-0.
Well, she had told me earlier she was for it, so
Like, we're not gonna press
chair
it,
votes aye as
right?
well for-
So it passes
we'll
4-0.
Thank you,
take that
council.
Step and go from there.
So, Mayor, just for clarification, this is a first step in a very long process.
Right.
Even without any resistance through this, it's going to take several years to get this accomplished. But this is, like Councilman Howard said, this is the first step, and you have to have the COPCN before you can go to the state and apply for an ALS license. So
Well,
this is,
I'm sorry, Chief, it's just these things about they not being able to man. I remember a year or so ago, they were having trouble manning ambulance. That was one of the problems. They was borrowing EMS techs and everything from other counties and everything just to try to run ambulance services.
And you know, as crazy
And
as
that
it
scared me
sounds,
when-
they had ambulances sitting unoccupied. They had
Right,
they
because
had
they didn't have
the
personnel.
equipment. We offered them to take the ambulances and run the calls, and they declined.
And their explanation for that was COVID and that they had had a lot of people leave for different jobs. So there was an explanation of why that happened. From their perspective, I don't know whether it was completely true or not. But,
Well, we always got explanation, but I just.
but we're not in COVID anymore, so.
No, and like I asked you one time, but Chief, when you told me they were gonna give us 2 ambulances, I asked you to get that in writing because until they put something in writing, I don't trust it. Okay, all righty, let's move on to reports, if that's okay. 1654. Mr. Van Wagner.
We have a workshop October 21st at 3 p.m. That's going to be a mixture of the CRA discussion and our workshop as well for the City Council. Events, we have the Great Floridian Triathlon at Waterfront Park. That's Saturday, October 18th, 7:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then Sunday, the 19th at 7:30 to noon, a triathlon. The Harvest Fest is October 25th downtown from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Clermont Halloween on Tuesday, October 28th at Waterfront Park from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And I wanted to just make the audience know, a note for the audience and for the council. Lisa Whittakin, she just recently told us that she is going to be retiring after 22 years being at Building Services for us. And she's served with dedication and professionalism and true commitment to the public service. Her contributions have had a long-lasting impact on our city. We're grateful for all her countless hours of work to improve the lives of our citizens. And while she's going to be missed greatly in the office, we're excited to celebrate a new chapter in her life as well. So we're very excited for her. Her last day will be on Friday, and just want to let everybody know that in case you'd like to congratulate her on this next stint of life. We're excited for her and excited about what we're going to be doing. Personally, I want to say thank you to the council for all the initiatives and things that you approved. You asked us to get a lot done over the last 10 months, and your support has been wonderful and exceptional. So thank you for all that you've supported, from the De Hoyas to the fire department to the training facility to the ambulance. I could go on and on and on. I can't thank the 4 of you and plus one who's off, Bill, but thank you for all you did tonight. I'm grateful for what you've done, and I know our staff is grateful. And how wonderful when you got the union president coming up here saying, we want to support this city and do more work to help our citizens be taken care of, and our staff and you guys and our citizens. This is why I live in Clermont. I love our community and all the things that are going on here. So thank you. And I'll let Councilmember Howard talk about Heartwood Marsh, but Mr. Mayor, we are working it on all these things. So exciting times. Thanks again.
Okay, thank you. And there was one other retirement, I understand, out of city clerk office?
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry. Don, forgive me. Mr. Don also is retiring, and he's been a major asset to the city, and we're grateful for all that you've done. And just a diligent, hardworking, faithful man. Doesn't complain, just puts his nose to the grind and makes it happen. And I know Tracy is very sad, Don, that you are leaving. But thanks for all you've done for our city as well. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir, and thank you. I think I went in and had a conversation with Miss Lisa last week and everything, and thank her because I've been working with Miss Lisa for many years. When she first got here, of course, in the post office, I worked with her many years with addressing and everything in the post office, so we've been working quite a while together, so thank you. Mr. Waugh.
Yes, sir. Just a couple things. At the last meeting, I told you that I was working on an agreement at the behest of the Public Services Department with Sunshine Utilities. The agreement's been drafted, and I think it's under review and consideration right now. It would create an interconnect between the systems so they could better serve a community. Your renewal with Duke Energy is coming up. Those negotiations are taking place. You know, they've asked for a 30-year commitment. We've proposed a 10, just to give you more flexibility. So there's different things. They have asks, we have asks. That'll come before you. There is a meeting scheduled for November among staff with Duke to talk about this. And finally, you approved a memorandum of understanding, I think a month and a half ago, with Pendler regarding certain things to be done. And we have received a warranty deed from them for the property that they were going to dedicate under the terms of the memorandum. And I believe that they have also executed a quitclaim deed to a portion of Mr. Hess's property to Mr. Hess. So that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you.
On those negotiations with the Duke Energy, I know that we do need to have some discussions about these power poles that are still in downtown, where those should be ground and underground utilities. So
I have
hopefully,
let them know that that is something the city is interested in.
very good. Thank you.
I thought, Kirk, if I'm not mistaken, I thought when we did the landscape project, that was one of the things we tried to do, put utilities underground downtown.
That's not part of it.
We didn't. I know we looked at doing all that.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna look into it, but
Right.
it's not part of the
Yeah.
So,
okay, 'cause
so there's some emails where Duke was aware that they were supposed to be doing underground utilities with surface mount transformers. However, they didn't exactly do what they were supposed to do, and so I've been supplied with those emails, and we are going to hold their feet to the fire to make sure that they do what they told us they were going to do, and let's get some of these telephone poles that are just stuck up in the middle of the air for no reason.
Well, that's true, and I think I'm still asking Mr. Van Wagner to get on Duke now for over 2 years. I've been out with a whole street out there without street lights, and a couple other areas that they came in and switched out some poles and never put the street lights back up. For almost
What street is that?
Highland Avenue. Over
The
there.
streetlights just aren't on?
Well, they they switched the poles, and when they switched out poles, they never put the lights back on the poles at all. The lights non-existent, but I'm being told we're still paying for these lights. If you go on you can go to the app, and it'll show you all the street lights in the city.
They will do it.
Huh?
They will do it.
Well, I've been in communication with them for 2 years now, and I think I've had a meeting with Mr. Van Wagner and a couple of them. We've sat down with them, and this is over a year ago, and they still haven't did anything. And at the last conference, when I went to Mr. Jerry down there and told him, no, he didn't want to talk to me, is basically what I told him. Because I was so upset, but they were probably coming right out and.
Well, I love it when you improve my negotiating hands.
I was gonna say, you saw the smile come on his
Really-
face. He's like,
really
really?
good, really good. Thank you, thank you.
Well,
He's got that
you can
attorney
get
leagues
with
going on.
With Mr. Van Wagner, because we've had communication, and we've been fighting this for over a year, almost 2 years now. Okay, but Highland Avenue, right there behind the Winn-Dixie Plaza and all that up through there. Like I say, you can go to the app and you can show all the streetlights that's supposed to be there, but they're not there. Okay. And in addition to that, we've asked them to put in some more lighting on some other streets, and one of them was Excalibur Way, was it?
Yes,
and
sir.
And look at
Yep.
lighting up Hook Street for
By
us
the,
as well.
by the high school.
By the high school.
By
right there.
Eastridge, yep.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry. but Mr. Howard.
So this has been an interesting 2 weeks. I sat through days of meetings with Dan and Rick, and we met with most of the county commissioners trying to get the transport over the line, as well as Hartwood Marsh, the funding for that going. I feel much more comfortable with Hartwood Marsh than I do anything else. However, there are still people who are not necessarily supportive. And there are county commissioners right now who are stepping over dollars to pick up dimes. You saw the paper from Vinny that showed that it's gone up $10 million just in the past 3 years. And construction costs are not going down. And so instead of doing a 3.5% to 4.5% and getting this started this summer, they're talking about kicking it down till 2032. That's just not tenable in the city. So in that process, 44B is a problem up in North Lake, so they kind of combine the two. So right now, it looks like we have 3 people supporting it, one who knows, and the other wants us to take over responsibility for Heartwood Marsh. But we couldn't take over responsibility for Heartwood Marsh until they brought it up to our standards anyway. So that was kind of a go nowhere. And I did also reach out to Stoney to bring back the cost of what it would take for us just to maintain the roadways and medians. And I have not heard that yet, but ultimately that's going to be a 4-lane all the way to Orange County. So I kind of view it just like I would with Hancock, that it's going to be an arterial road that we don't want to own anyway. But I wanted you guys to be aware there is a Board of County Commissioner who's pushing that direction, and it wasn't something I was super interested in, but I was trying to bring back the stuff. But ultimately, it seemed like they were going to go in that direction. Mr. Sabatini and Mr. Parks were obviously both for it. Leslie seemed for it, but obviously she is in District 4, which is up there in Eustis where 44B is, so that was her ask. So we still have to work on Mr. Smith and Mr. Morris. But they are very much adverse to taking a short-term loan out to get this moving forward. And I just think that's as short-sighted as it gets. But, and I did let them know that in our private meetings. I didn't do that publicly. I guess I just did. I did let them know that in their private meetings, but it's just where we're at. So hopefully we get it done. But it's been a tough haul with the county lately. So that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Let me just say this. I said this to somebody the other day. Like you say, that road up in the north end, they lumped it in with everything else. But when we started developing Heartwood Marsh in 01, 02, so we've been fighting this issue out there in Heartwood Marsh for some years. I think the road up there in the north end just started growing in the last 4 or 5 years, but yet and still they taking some precedence over us down here. So again, we have a problem with our county. I mean, we've been fighting this, and so but yet and still they want to lump them two together. But I agree, if they want to take out a loan and do this here, that's fine. But no, I was asking about the city loan, giving them $6 million, and I'm totally against that. And there's a push on turning over county roads to the city, and I probably wouldn't have no problem with that. The conversation that I've had with a couple of them with that, once they repair the roads. Okay, I'm not going to accept no roads that need repairing before they repair them. Okay.
And that's exactly what I told him, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. I know I think I relayed that to you before, so.
And they did let them know that the city was putting in $1 million for relocation of utilities. So it's not that we're not partnering with them to get this done.
Well,
we are.
Yeah. Well,
we're
we
helping
almost
them.
have to do that on the utility because the hours. So we pretty much have to. I don't have no problem relocating our utilities running there. Of course, I think one of the scary part about that, I'm hoping in that area, because I was told one time our utilities may be underneath the street there. So if we have to move them from underneath the street, that can be very costly and everything, and put them in the easement. Okay. Thank you. Ms. Myers.
Good evening. Dan, this MPO survey, did that get put on the website?
Yes, it did.
Okay, so the director of the MPO board wanted us to put on our city website for our citizens to do a survey, and it's about our traffic and what our thoughts on that. So I thought everybody would be glad to give input on that, yes. And the other thing for my report is I want to encourage our ladies to make sure they get their mammograms if they haven't already, to schedule that. And I also want to say happy retirement to you, to Don and to Lisa. Thank you for your service. You've been invaluable to our city, and God bless y'all.
Thank you. Ms. Strange, you still there?
She's indicated there's no report.
Okay, no report. Okay, what about? Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Just to follow up on a couple things you asked about at the last meeting, we looked into the 12th Street flagpole. We did talk to the leasee, and they said that installed new bulbs as of May, and that's why there was no lighting on there. But they said they installed new bulbs as of May, and if we drive by again and see that it's still not lit, to let them know, and they'll fix it immediately. Also, the Wellness Way Orange County connector, you asked about that. Crews are on site grading now. They're actually rough cutting it. They did that about a week or two ago, and they issued the notice to proceed back in September with an expected construction date of 483 days, which that puts it at a December 29th, 2026, not to exceed completion date. So the last thing I have is that, as you may be aware, I was appointed by the Florida League of Cities president last month to be on the Legislative Policy Committee for Development, Code Compliance, and Redevelopment Legislation. And the committee voted to, at the last meeting, to take a position on the following 4 topics: CRAs, Affordable Housing, Live Local Act, accessory dwelling units, and short-term rentals. So we're going to dive deeper into those on Friday to read a lot more into the legislation, the pending legislation, and I will be able to report to you at the next council meeting what the position may be by the Florida League of Cities.
So you're on the policy?
I am, yes, sir.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And everything, so, all right. And of course, we got Legislative Day coming up over there in December. Yep, and everything, so we'll be over there talking with them. Whoa. Of course, Legislative Day in the state is coming up in January as well, which I think we may have to look at that date because it's on a council date. We may have to move that date, so, yeah. Okay. All righty, thank you, sir. One other thing, the agreement between the county and the developer for Hancock up the 5 Mile Road, have we found anything on it? Last I was told, the county they somewhat come to agreement, but the county still haven't signed the agreement yet.
Yeah, I don't have any update on that.
Okay.
That's the last I heard as well.
Okay. And I think Mr. Van Wagner gave me a report on Highway 50 and everything, the meeting that went on with Highway 50, everything we're trying to do on 50 and get some improvement done on 50. So, but we still need to go back and ask them about 12th Street and the left turn light on 12th Street, especially with this project coming down on the Yonge.
Stoney's reached out to them about that.
Okay, thank you. Well, my report, let me do this real quick. Training center, I was over last week, and they opened up the training center for the fire department. Thank you all. Again, congratulations on that. I know it's been a long time coming, but I think we can, it'll be well serve our community, and I was very impressed at looking at some of the candidates y'all had over there last week going through some of the training. I just said to myself, not me. Okay. You knew I couldn't do these things these days, but thank you and congratulations, and hopefully we can keep building upon that. Kirk, 508, and Mr. Van Wyck, 580 and 590, I think it is, West Juliana. That's the duplex down there on the corner of Lake and Juliana. The one that caught a fire a few years ago.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay.
When I find out what's going on with that, I mean, it's still. I mean, that thing been sitting down now for more than 4 or 5 years now. So, I think we need to get moving on that and see can't we get something done on that. There was a question about tree planting. I think they left. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, every year we go around the city and we plant trees and everything. If doing tree month or Arbor Day or whatever, we plant a lot of different trees. And one of the problems I think we've been having with the trees is the fact that we plant them, like I know they put some out in McKinney Park and everything, because we can't keep enough water on them, they end up dying. So, and I'm quite sure we can get with Stoney and find out if they planning on planting trees again this year. I can't remember who it was that asked that, but somebody in public come and ask about that. Trash pickup, yes. A few months ago, maybe last year, I can't remember, but it was a letter that went out to the residents and everything stating basically what's going on with trash now. When you set your trash side the road, if it's more than 3 cubic feet or 6 cubic yards, 3 cubic yards, they will not pick it up, okay? No, it's a pretty good little bit. However, and that's one of the questions I had at the time we did that. And basically, what was happening is a lot of people putting all this trash out there coming out here, and they picking it all up. they won't pick it all up if it's over 3 cubic yards, and there was some information put out. You should have received a letter. It was all in your water utility bill, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Of course, I've been called and I've got involved with a couple of cases where the people didn't realize it. And but here's the thing. Say you got 6 cubic yards, and you're cleaning up your yard, you got all this trash, so what you want to do is put three out there this week, and next week you can put 3 more. Keep the other 3 in your backyard, okay? Doesn't make sense, but that's the way some of the people are going around beating it, and okay? Basically because you have all this excess trash being picked up now, and one of the problems we have in the Lincoln Park area is your young lady sitting next to you can witness to it. We have people coming in from outside the community dumping their trash. Okay, I've been fighting that for 2-3 years now. Okay, and I think the last time it happened, Ms. Keys there actually took pictures and sent it to me of the person actually dumping the trash, and I got with Chief Graysick to see if we can't find out who the person was. But by the time I actually got over there to look at it and take more pictures, the city had already picked it up because they do it on the morning of the trash pickup. Okay, but they coming in from out of the city, and sometimes it end up sitting there because if it's at a vacant lot or something like that, and the city realizes it wasn't cut there, they won't pick it up either. So that's one of the problems we having with the trash pickup. So I'll say to you again, like I know Ms. Keys had heard me say that, and that's why she probably took the pictures. When you see these people coming in outside the community dumping trash, take pictures. If you can get a license plate, let us know so we can report it to the police department, and they can track them down, because that is against the law. Okay, so that's one of the problems. But if you have excess trash, I can't tell you exactly how much 3 cubic yards is, but if you're gonna have excess, you can call the city. They can tell you exactly how much it is, what it is, and everything. And just like I say, I do the same thing. Last time I cut trees, I put part of it out there and left the other part in my backyard on my truck, on the back of my truck, and then a week or so later, I pulled it out there and put it in the front. That's how we've been getting around it. Okay. Kurt, flag signs. I call them bayonet signs. The little signs that stick in the ground. They say like stick them in the ground. What's that? I thought they was illegal. Did we approve an ordinance on them to allow them to use them for so many days during a grand opening? Correct. Okay. Well, I see quite a few of them popping up around the city, so we may need to go around and look at that. And of course, that goes back to another thing I've been saying for 4 or 5 years as well, is since I've been on the council, we need to take a look at our sign ordinance and update it, okay, all together. With all these type things, I think what we went back there, because I know at one point they was illegal, we went in and said, okay, we'll allow you for 30 days. So let's take a look. I see quite a few of them popping up around town, okay, and I'm starting to get some complaints, okay. What else I have here? In Juniata, I took care of that. I think it was a comment about rebating for landscaping. I think that can be something we Mr. Wagner, maybe look at, Kurt, or somebody look at and see what we can do to help motivate or incentivize people to do that new landscaping ordinance and everything. Other than that, that's all I have. And I thank you for getting on the Hoyer property and everything. I know we worked with it and talked about it and everything, and it's been one of them things we've been trying to work with for years. So I know at least 15 years we've been trying to buy that piece of property, and of course, I'm glad she finally decided to go ahead and sell it and everything, and I appreciate the council for going ahead and making the decision to purchase it, and let's see what we can do with it to improve downtown. Anything else need to come before this council? Hearing nothing, meeting adjourned.